Sadly, I think businesses are not investing enough in their people. It's like Keith mentioned. There's been a big emphasis on marketing, certainly pre-COVID-19, and not so much on actually training staff. If you're talking about the hospitality sector, front-facing public people, staff, yes, they've received some basic training, but I think there's much more that can be done. I think the sad situation here, which relates to the topic today, is if I look around myself, I'm surrounded by resorts, living in a beach resort area here in Thailand. And many of the hotels are actually struggling to get staff. Many of them have moved on. They moved on to other sectors and are not particularly interested to come back to tourism at the moment for the same reason that Keith mentioned before. Salaries and benefits are lower than other sectors. There's a lot of instability in the market still at the moment and uncertainty in terms of the future. And people who have moved to other sectors are not particularly keen to come back. So many of the resorts are really struggling to find people to fill up the vacancies they have at the moment.
And even where I live in West London, the story is the same. We have a high road that is full of restaurants. Two of the restaurants are not open because they can't find the staff. It's extraordinary. Now, is this an existing trend that was accelerated by the pandemic, or is it new because of the pandemic? Mario.
There was some challenges before, but the challenges were different. People were employed in tourism. The jobs were filled, but people had a tendency to hop from one job to another very frequently and very fast, simply because they were maybe getting a better compensations across the street and would move much more frequently than they did before. But certainly the situation has accelerated the fact that people are just moving on to other sectors. And what I think a lot of the businesses got shocked and surprised is that they expected they would move on because obviously they need to provide for their families, but they expected them to come back. What they didn't expect is people not returning. And that's the challenge that they face at the moment.